Finally, we've got the weather we want. Last week we went out and we're trying to get some crazy rainy sort of shots, some chaos. We wanted some chaos, but we were far from it. This time, chaos ensued. We start the video off actually quite sunny, typical Gold Coast looking stuff at the beach, beautiful. Lots of people around. Haven't shot on Saturday for a long time, so much more subjects happening. But I think I started a flow quite early, so compared to last week, totally different. So that's a quick note for you to go out all the time, because sometimes it just works better for you. Anyway, we went out, started off, and started clicking good, and noticed a cloud coming over, and it got quite rainy. So I think most of this video is going to be just straight up chaos for the end of it. Well, I don't know if it's chaos, but got quite a lot of images that I liked this time, quite a few. And I'm also trying zone focusing in this one. So 99% of everything shot here was zone focused. If you don't know what zone focusing is, I'll talk about that later in the video. Oh yeah, and in this video we're using the Canon R6 with the 28mm pancake lens, fairly newly acquired lens, and I fucking love it. I love 28mm, fantastic. And also, I'm gonna try something a little different. I don't know if you've watched, I think it's Thomas Heaton, where he shows his favorite photos at the end, or photos at the end that he's taken with the settings and the before and after. I think I might do it that way instead of showing you the settings and the before and afters as we go on. Just so if people aren't really interested in the settings, then they don't have to watch the end piece. Like, it's literally gonna be right at the end of the video. So I'm trying this year. I'm trying different concepts on how I'm gonna structure my videos, and it's an influence from a majority of different other YouTubers and whatnot that make this type of content. So settings at the end, you will see that, and before and afters. But for now, let's just get straight into the POV, because that's what we're here for, right? we should hang around here, just in case it opens up. so I'm going to interrupt a little bit. This photo right here was one of the only few that I nailed the focus with the zone focusing. What I noticed over the session is I was focusing actually too far away. I thought I'd be focusing too close. What I was focusing on was 1 meter to infinity, or just over 1 meter to infinity, so like in between there. Because I really thought that I'd be a lot further back in a lot of shots, but I guess not. I guess I should start zoning my focus at about 1 meter, or probably just less than 1 meter. There's quite a lot of shots that I got out of focus or slightly out of focus. But in this video, I honestly don't really care because there's just so many fun shots that I don't really care about the focus as much. So purist, grill me, I don't care. Like, I like the photo. That's all that matters. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed all of that chaos, because I certainly did. I got drenched. I would literally walk out for 2 seconds and me and my camera were completely drenched. So the thing is, I was using the Canon R6 with the 28mm f2.8 today, the pancake lens, and it's not weather sealed. So I still went out there and got wet as fuck. My camera got absolutely fucking soaked, but I would drop in and then wipe it with a cloth, go back out, come back in, wipe it with a cloth. It's just risky to do that without the weather sealing. So yeah, because there's obviously no gasket between the lens and the camera. The rest of the camera, or lens and the camera body, but the rest of the camera, I can trust it enough, like where all the buttons are on the screen is and stuff. Never had an issue with that. So yeah, I'm not really scared to like get my camera wet, but when it's like heavy, sometimes I just be a bit more cautious. Also, another thing about 28mm, I think another reason why I was misfocusing was because I was touching the focus ring, and you know, I was messing up my zone that I was already in. So that's the one issue I have with this lens, is because it's so small and so close to the camera body, and the ring is on like the focus ring is like the outer edge. It's not like in the middle of, let's get an example. So here's the 50mm, right? So the ring is here, it's on the outside. The 28mm is very similar to this. So the edge here is also the ring. A lot of other lenses, the ring is like in the middle here. So it's harder to knock, but when it's on the edge, and especially when I'm trying to protect it from rain, I tend to like touch it on my chest or like my shirt or something. And it's because there's bugger all resistance on that ring, it kind of shifts it a little bit. So there was some times where I looked at my camera, I'm like, why am I focusing this close or this far away? What the fuck happened? But I think it's because I bumped it, because it's so easy to move. So bit of a gift and a curse. It's good that it's easy to move. I also changed a few settings on my R6 to help me memorize the the focusing a bit better. So with the Canon R6, or with a lot of Canon cameras, when you go into manual focus mode, you'll see down the bottom on the screen, it will show you the distance, how many meters or feet that it's focused at. Now, the problem I had was if I was trying to pull the focus in, like if I was trying to focus closer to me, I would turn it this way. I'll turn it anti-clockwise to where I am. And it actually worked oppositely on the camera. So if you turn it anti-clockwise, it would focus further away. But if you turn it clockwise, it would focus closer. I'm sorry about that. And that confused the shit out of me. I always get it wrong. Like if something's moving and I'm trying to like manually focus it, I would start turning it the wrong way and then I'd fumble and then I would miss focus every time. So you can actually change a setting in the menu so it goes with the ring. So if I turn it this way, I'm focusing away. If I turn it this way, I'm focusing towards me. And I found that extremely beneficial, like insanely beneficial. And it was very easy to memorize where my focus was. And it was very easy for me to just instantly go, oh, that's further away. And then push the ring that way and pull the ring this way. So if that makes sense. So cool little setting there that I changed. I was really, really happy with me changing that setting. It really helped this time around. But yeah, so I noticed a lot of the time I was focusing too far away. So I need to focus closer next time. Nonetheless, I like a lot of photos in this video, in this street session we did. I hope you did too. Okay, so I'd mentioned at the start of the video that I will explain zone focusing really quickly. So we'll just use paint. Very quick example. There's your camera over this side. This red line is critical focus. So that's where everything will be extremely sharp. It'll be thicker or thinner depending on what aperture you use. Typically I use f10, but this time in this video I was using f8 for the most part of it. So it was a bit thinner. Anyway, the other two lines are almost in focus. So it's very close to being in focus, but not really. Don't take these as a perfect scale, but this is just for an example. So basically you have your camera in manual focus and you set it at a distance. So for example, I was setting it about here, just past 1 meter, but I should have been setting it about 1 meter. But anyway, what this achieves is your subject will be walking. Oh yeah. And once they hit this critical focus, you take the photo right there. So basically what I was doing, I was setting a zone right here and people were hitting this zone and I was getting everything behind them in focus. Basically with zone focusing, what I'm trying to practice is learning the distance to where I take the photo so then people are sharp. So I was taking photos in the wrong. So I was trying to, it's hit and miss. But the reason for zone focusing and why street photographers use zone focusing a lot more, especially people that do up close and personal type stuff, especially people that use Leicas, is because this is a much faster way of focusing. Zone focusing will always be faster than autofocus because there's no way. So I could have my camera pointing down, but then I can, if I see something, I can point it up straight away and take the photo. This critical focus is probably a bit more thicker. It's probably like, because I was shooting at f10, or even if I shoot at f11 or if I'm shooting at f8, this critical focus is much more thicker. Anyway, yeah, so it's just going to be always faster than autofocus. Because autofocus is trying to grab a subject, is trying to figure out where you're looking first, and the camera simultaneously tries to expose. So a lot of things happening when you go to take photos, when you half press the shutter, where with your zone focus, you can just lock it in one spot and basically rely on your own skill to get the person in the right spot. So that's kind of what's going on here. That's what zone focusing is. It is pretty difficult, but I think once I can judge distance a bit better, like anyone, will be able to hit focus a lot more often. And the other thing about it is, with zone focusing, you can do a lot more faster, complex compositions, or like if let's say you're using foreground element to shoot through, it's much more easier because if you use autofocus, it might grab the foreground element. So for example, this image here was taken using zone focusing and the guy in the background wouldn't be anywhere near in focus if I was using autofocus, because it would have definitely grabbed on to everything around it, because this happened quite quickly to shoot through the bag handle. It was sort of an accident, but at the same time, if I was using autofocus, it would have grabbed onto this foreground or it would have tried to figure out where we were looking. It would probably grab the background. It would start freaking out. No matter how good your camera is, it'll probably start freaking out because it doesn't know the specific subject you're looking for. So because I shot this in zone focus, I knew it was already pre-focused to this distance. So all I had to do was just lean in and take this photo. Oh, I was sitting down when I took this photo, but you catch my drift. Anyway. And another thing about it is exposing. I wasn't exposing correctly a lot this time. So there's quite a bit, I'm not gonna lie, quite a bit of AI noise reduction here in Lightroom, not like using other things. Mostly because when we were shooting and it was sunny, I normally underexpose because of the highlights. They're so harsh during the middays. So I underexposed, but I left it like that when it was raining. And unfortunately, because everything else, basically the sky was bright and everything else was dark. And when it was raining, I didn't realize, because it was so chaotic, I didn't realize that I was actually compensating for the light instead of the shadows, which I should have changed it. I wouldn't have cared about ISO as much, but literally some of the photos you'll see at the end here, or quite a few of them in the rainy shots, were extremely underexposed, and the subjects were extremely underexposed anyway. The shadows were really dark. So I had to do a bit of noise reduction. So I guess the quality of images could be a lot better, but they still turned out pretty fun, pretty good. Hope you enjoyed this. And remember, if you don't go out and take shit photos, you'll never take any good photos. See you in the next one.